used to think that sci-fi was for dorks, for bookworms, for people who are less than us, and nowadays, yeah, I'm absolutely balls deep into some sci-fi. I get distracted frequently by sci-fi. Guys, it's kind of an addiction. Okay, I initially it was the ease of use that really brought me in. You go to these free book websites, right? If you want to see what I'm talking about, just search up like free books on Reddit or something. Listen, I hate Reddit as much as the next guy, but all of them are commies, and none of them have jobs. I know that that sucks to hear if you actually are looking for a job or whatever. I would know, but these guys aren't even trying to get jobs. Okay, they haven't ever tried to get a job in their entire natural life. So they know every possible way of how to get free stuff. It's it's the only redeemable just anything that Reddit has to offer. Just go on to Reddit, search up free books, and dude, you can just download like digitized crack from these book sites. Now, obviously the good stuff is in short supply. You know, the the nonfiction, right? But the fiction, the sci-fi, dude, you can get piles. Okay, you can get gigabytes. Okay, maybe not maybe not gigabytes, but you can get a heaping helping of some sci-fi. Like really a quite a large amount of sci-fi. You get what I'm trying to say. And the reason it's so addicting is that like when you read a book, you actually have to imagine what it looks like what you're reading, right? And holy crap, it is dark right now. I just noticed like it got so much darker. I don't think that's because of these lights on. I think the moon just like went away. It's just so dark. But it's like the darkest it's been in forever. Anyway, though, so yeah, you have to like imagine what it is that you're reading about, right? And the thing that makes that so awesome for sci-fi is that with nonfiction, you read it and you're like, oh, like I know what that kind of looks like. Like I can pretty easily imagine what that would look like. But for sci-fi, how the hell do you imagine what a space battle looks like? You have to just dredge it up through the bowels of your mind. Like the entire thing has to be synthesized. So it really just like your mind, a sentence of text can take your mind to like, holy crap, like what the hell would that even look like? And it feels awesome to just like fully create this fictional environment in your mind. And I mean, space battles would probably look pretty cool. So it looks cool in your mind. That's how you'd imagine it. So that's how it is. Now, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of brain rot. You know, I used to be more of a nonfiction guy. Let me gotta shift hands because I'm not wearing my big gloves, so I'm getting a little bit of frostbite. But yeah, so like it's kind of brain rot, kind of a little bit of brain rot. Nonfiction. Nonfiction's pretty goated. You learn so much. You read one book on nonfiction, and you come out like you've just lived 10 years in real life. You know what I mean? Because they're basically shrinking down like a couple years worth of experiences into like a couple hundred pages of text. I've said like so many times, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a like so sorry. Like I didn't mean, but okay. I can't help it. Okay. Fuck. Anyway though. So yeah, nonfiction is just awesome. It's really good. It's all another video talking about nonfiction, but so it's mostly brain rot, but it has a little nugget there, a little nugget of intellectual stimulation for you, and that is the feasibility of fictional designs. It's like you're reading this stuff, and you're like what the hell is a quantum shift drive? And they describe how it works, and you're like, is that? Could you have that? Is that? Is that really something that you could have? I read one book, I think it was called Wayward Galaxy. It got really bad. It was like a series or something. It got pretty garbage after like two books, but first book was pretty good. Um, so yeah, basically like they had this vision device, and essentially it just, instead of being like a thermal or a night vision, it filtered your vision by mass density, right? It's like an X-ray kind of. And I was like, that is pretty cool. Like, that is the theoretical end game of optics. Because how the hell would you fool a mass density scanner? Like, what could you possibly do? The worst part would just be giving everybody around you cancer by looking at them. Um, but other than that, like, you're pretty goated, you know. I guess it would work. It wouldn't work off gamma radiation. It would probably have to work off like alpha or beta. You see what I mean? Like, you just start thinking. You're like, how would this piece of fictional technology actually function? And that is the intellectual stimulation that you can glean from these novels. That's really the cheese at the end of the maze for these things. But that being said, it, like, does it actually apply to the real world in basically any way? No, it does not. And it actually might be bad because you read about social interactions that some, like, lobotomite that doesn't talk to people wrote about. So, like, I've read a ton of these things and I've just been like, that is not how it would go down. Like, that is just, based off my real world experience, I can tell you, no way. People do not talk like that, and it wouldn't happen like that, you know? Just straight up. So, it can be bad. It can be bad. But it's just so good. Like the interaction between fictional entities is really the crux of why these novels are so good. Because you think it get boring, right? Like, oh, fictional technology, oh, blah blah blah. But no, the imagine it like this. Imagine you read a nonfiction book about a guy that talks to like uncontacted tribes or something, or he talks to like an AI or something like that. That would be just like truly one of a kind, and that's basically what every single sci-fi book is. They're what they're simulating, what the real meat of the the real meat is. I almost said the meat of the potatoes. It's like, what the fuck am I talking about? The real meat, okay, the real giant juicy steak of this is that fictional entities like aliens or AI can basically be imagined to be any number of things, or, act any number of ways. Like, obviously an alien could be basically anything. It could be a computer, it could be a rock, it could be a fleshy mass, it could be a slug. You see what I mean? You could quite literally have absolutely anything, and it would just kind of work. And that's the magic, is that you read about the ways that these things are interacting with each other, and it's fascinating. It really is. In this book, The Nature of Predators, it's basically just, the whole book is about what would it be like if aliens, like, really didn't like it if we ate meat. And yeah, I don't know what the hell I just said before that, but what would it be like if aliens really hated that we were predators and like ate meat and stuff like that? Damn, I'm having issues with that. But that's like the whole thing. And it's just fascinating because it's like, it's basically, if prey here on Earth, like if a deer, for example, if a deer was sentient, and they'd be like afraid of you because you eat it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. And if you think it's unrealistic, you're probably wrong. You are definitely wrong. You just need to get to the end, and then you're just like, this is actually, like, unfortunately very realistic. Like, this is scarily realistic, and I think that's just what really did it for me, is that I was loving the book, and I thought it was great. The characters are, like, all fucking awesome, right? And then I get to the end, and I'm just like, Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I could definitely see that. For sure, actually. So, yeah, and see that ties back into the like fictional stuff is trying to figure out, is this real? Like, could this happen? Do I believe that this could happen? Also just makes it very interesting. I really do love that, just being like like would this actually be how it goes down? Maybe. Maybe. But yeah, so and compare this to just the, I don't know, because this is how my mind works. I'm like, oh, I'm reading this or I'm doing this for entertainment, but is it actually helping me? Like, is this in any way valuable to myself? And, a lot of stuff is just like, no. This is a whole nother video, but if you watch TV, your brain is turned off behind your eyes. It is worse than just masturbating. I would literally prefer masturbating. I think it would be way healthier for you if you just, instead of watching TV, whenever you're about to watch TV, you just watch porn and masturbate. Or my personal favorite option, which is just don't watch porn and just imagine whatever it is that you're masturbating to. At least then there would just be, I don't know, something, anything. But TV is just absolute trash. I mean, unless you're watching like the, I was about to say unless you're watching the History Channel, but isn't the History Channel fucking garbage now? It's all trash. But anyway, back on the topic of the video. That's another video. Compared to the utility of YouTube videos, because that's normally what I watch, right? Specifically the pseudo-intellectual ones, specifically, I'm going to nail this guy to a cross in this video, but Jacob Geeler, whatever his name is, those videos, I'm pretty sure SciFi is literally infinitely better for you. Like, what I hate about these pseudo-intellectual videos is that they make you think just enough to make you think that you are thinking, but you really aren't. It's just garbage. You're like, oh, that is fascinating. Wow. But it's like, what are you even gawking at right now? Like, what is the value that you're doing right now? There's nothing. Okay, you want the answer? There's nothing. There's nothing of value. And compare that to the knowledge that can be gleaned from these fiction books. Like in nonfiction, you get bombarded. It's just every page, every sentence, there's nothing but knowledge. But in fiction, there are some nuggets of something, and some really damn good nuggets in some books. In Nature of Predators, they got I've learned this in my own fucking life, but taking pills, that's not good. Like any sort of medication, you don't want that. You really don't. You can be easily irreparably altered by medication, right? And I don't know, that's debatable because I'm not gonna spoil it because I really do think that this is like a fucking goated book. But if you wonder what the hell I'm talking about, leave a comment and I'll tell you what I'm talking about with that. If you read the book, nobody has read the book. I don't know who I'm talking to right now. I'm not talking to anybody because nobody has read this fucking book. But definitely in Nature of Predators, pretty obvious one, but stereotyping people is not actionable intelligence. Like you can't assume what your enemy is going to do based off of a stereotype about their fucking race. You know what I mean? Like if I was attacking Mexicans, I wouldn't, I don't know. There's no actionable thing that I could be like, oh, this is totally what they're going to do because they're Mexicans. I don't know. I don't even know how that would work. Like, tactically, what would you even assume that Mexicans would do? I guess fucking cross your border if you have one? I don't fucking know. Like, how would you even stereotype that? It doesn't even make sense. You get what I mean, though. And then, dude, this one, from this one book, I'm kind of embarrassed to say which book it is. maybe I will, but it basically says like you can put your hands on the back of your head, like you're surrendering, right? Um, and it drastically increases the amount of air that you can suck into your lungs. So you can just put your hands on your back of your head when you're like oh, oh, and instead of having to sit there and fucking breathe like an idiot for like a minute, you can just put your hands on the back of your head and just breathe deeply like 5 times in a row. And it's so effective that you can go from gasping for air to like getting a head rush from how much you're breathing in like 5 seconds. Like it's really good. And I learned about this reading some like sci-fi fiction, you know? Like that's awesome. That is some good knowledge. Okay? That is how has nobody taught me that? And how have I never seen anybody doing that in my life? I learned it from this fucking sci-fi book. Fucking awesome. But yeah, and then in another one, Wayward Galaxy, that one, I learned that actually suppressive fire does kind of make sense. It didn't really teach me that, but through the situations it was describing, I was like, wait a minute, because I've always thought suppressive fire is kind of stupid. Um, but it really just made me think like, if somebody's holding an angle, how else would you get them to give up that angle besides suppressing them? You know what I mean? Like there really is no way, is there? But yeah, and then this last one kind of does make me force. Sorry, it does force me to talk about the video or the book. Sorry, fuck. And that is the importance of easing yourself into sexual intimacy. Or I said physical intimacy. I really filled in the gaps there. I meant to make it not as obscene, but fuck it, sexual intimacy. So yeah, just immediately having sex with somebody that you're into and is reciprocating probably pretty lame. Like you want to like first like make out, then I don't really want to talk about this too much. I don't know. It's not that I'm shy. It's just like I don't know. I just not too big into having sex with people, I guess I would say. But I mean, you you wouldn't know that when I was reading this fucking book, though. I will tell you that. But I will talk about it. So, yeah, this fucking sci-fi book, it was called. You could call it Hell Jumper Survive, but it was really Heel Jumper Survive, Hel. And yeah, it fucking starts off like good sci-fi. It's good. The whole thing is pretty good. Um, but basically, the aliens there are just like furries. They're just furries. And I basically ended up reading furry porn for like way too many pages. Okay. And I didn't lick my lips too much while reading it, but I did lick my lips. It was pretty fucking hot, okay? I'll admit it, it was pretty fucking hot. But it wasn't a fucking furry, it was a fucking alien. This guy baited me into reading furry porn. It's fucked up. But I don't know, it was pretty good furry porn, so I can't stay mad at him. It was pretty good. Um, yeah. So, anyway, be wary of that. A lot of these stories are just thinly disguised furry stuff. Some of them don't even contain sex or anything. Or, they kind of do, but like very much so on the edge. Like it's just briefly mentioned that two characters are probably maybe having sex. Um, yeah, but the characters they're describing are like basically furries. So it's like, this is kind of this is kind of fucking weird. Something to be wary of when reading sci-fi. You might end up getting really into some furry porn and not just not fucking really even realizing it, the dangers of sci-fi, truly. But yes, then you do have to read a lot of these books to actually get to that point, though. Like I read this book, The Last Angel. Do not read that book. It's not like bad or anything, but it's 1,000 pages, and for fucking what? There's just the ending was pretty good, and then it was pretty bad. Like they should have cut the ending off sooner. It was I don't fucking know even what it was. I don't. They had like weird like weird. I don't even. You'd have to read the book to understand what I'm saying, but like basically AI computer sex, like as close as you could get to AI computer sex, I guess. And they should have just ended it like somewhere around there, or maybe when they fucking sent that retard's body out into the fucking middle of nowhere. Um, but no, they didn't. It just dragged on into like it. The ending wasn't full enough to be satisfying, and it wasn't sharp enough to be satisfying either. They should have picked one. Did they want to explain what happened in the future? Did they want to have an epilogue, or did they want to just have a sharp, good ending? They needed to pick one, okay? Like, I can pick the exact fucking sentence that they should have ended it off at, and it would have been goated. It would have been super good. The craziest part is I saw some comment that said, that was a perfect ending. It's like, no fucking wasn't. You're you're fucking wrong, okay? That was a shit ending. It was like somehow corny without even being corny. I don't know. Don't read the book. Do not. I might make it seem like it's interesting enough to go and read it. Do not. Do not go and read this fucking trash. Do not go and read it. But man, this video is going to be way too long. I think it might be. But yeah. But back to the videos, the YouTube videos. Those pseudo intellectual videos. I realized I didn't realize it before I started reading stuff, but they have zero staying power. Like, absolutely zero staying power. You can watch, like, 10 videos, and the only fucking thing you'll remember is, like, whatever asshole's talking about whatever's face. That's the only thing you'll remember. It's just their fat fucking head. You won't actually remember what they were talking about. Like, if I really strain my mind, I can think about what they're talking about. Compare that to reading a book. Like, randomly, I will just think about some of these books I've read and some of the crazy stuff that I read in them. That's just how good they are. They just make you think, you know? But these videos, man, they're trash. Okay, if you're listening to stupid videos like this one, you need to turn them. Okay, at least my videos actually have a moral, like, or a lesson. I'm talking about something that you can actually. This is like the YouTube equivalent of nonfiction. Okay, I'm talking about actual real fucking life. You know, these assholes, they aren't talking about real life. They're talking about some weird like video game thing. They're like, isn't this video game cool? Isn't this part of this video game cool? And it's like, I guess, like, yeah, it's pretty dope. But then after you finish the video, it's like, all right, like, then your brain finally floats back to the head of your face, like to the head of your face, to the front of your face, like you're a fucking 8 ball, a magic 8 ball, you know. And then you're like, what was I watching again? Whatever, turn on another one. So, yeah. The reason that it does that, these books, is like I said, you have to actually conjure up in your mind what it is that you're thinking about. With these videos, it's showing you what you're supposed to be thinking about. So it's just trash, okay? It's garbage. The best way to watch these videos is probably, I mean, you've probably realized this, but it's probably just to put your fucking headphones in and do something else, okay? Or, I mean, the photos are there. The photos are pretty dope, okay? I would know. I took them. But, I don't know. They're not that cool. I should stop blowing myself. But, yeah, I mean, you could look at the photos if you, like, really wanted to. But, yeah, I think listening, probably better. Probably pretty better. You know, seeing stuff, it just clogs up your mind. I don't know what to say about that. But, yeah, I don't know. You can watch my videos however the hell you want, by the way, as long as you fucking watch them. I just want infinite power. Is that really too much to ask? But, yeah, so, you don't imagine shit when you're watching these garbage YouTube videos, okay? But when you read them books, oh, dude, it's some good stuff. It's some really good stuff. So, yeah, what's the takeaway, guys? What's the takeaway? There's always a takeaway in life. Reading, no matter what it is, goated. The best. It's the best there is. Okay? You can watch a video, you can listen to a video, you can, I don't know, play a video game, whatever. Video games are awesome. I will make an exception to that because they're totally awesome. But I'm not saying that reading is like inherently better than other activities. What I am saying is that it's really good. If you want to actually think, if you want to use your fat fucking head, video games are good for like um just intuitively learning stuff. Like you could give me a gun right now and I could go have a firefight with somebody and probably easily win. It's just cuz it's literally baked into my mind from thousands and thousands of hours of simulating firefights and whatever through video games. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. You could put me in a helicopter, you could put me in a tank, and I would tell you exactly where you need to go and what you need to do to kill the enemy, you know? So, video games, pretty good for that. Pretty good for just, I don't know, becoming good at actually doing stuff. But books, great for becoming wise. Being pumped full of knowledge. Being inflated like a balloon filled with knowledge. And yeah, that's basically it. Sci-fi, it's like a gateway drug, you know? Think of it like that. I am getting more into nonfiction. I just wish it was easier to find, you know? I don't want to buy a physical book to read nonfiction. I just want to download it for free. Is that seriously too much to ask? To just get everything for free? I don't think it is. Anyway, though, see you around. We love sci-fi, we do.